Welcome to the Inspired Action interview series. I am Francis from Goldlilys Media. Here with me is Ashley Laughlin. Let's hear her story. I have Ashley Laughlin, who is one of my awesome designers. And she's incredible to work with as a designer, but she'll tell you more about what inspired her to become a web designer. So, Ashley, what inspired you to start your business?
Okay, this is actually my second time working on my own company. I originally graduated with a degree in industrial design and graphic design, and I got a full-time job right out of college. And I sat there every day with the feeling like I wasn't being utilized the way that I wanted to. I learned all these skills in college, and I just graduated, and I was ready to go, and there I was just sitting there just doing this one thing. I just I felt like there was just so much more out there that I could be doing and so many more skills that I could be learning and building. And luckily and kind of just abruptly the company closed. So I was sitting there and I got laid off basically for my first job and the company folded. And I was like, well, you know what, this is actually a really great opportunity for me to just try to see where things go. And I had a number of projects I was working on. I was very young. I had some clients. I made a lot of mistakes.
Don't
I
we all?
tried and I tried and I really kept with it for a while. And eventually I ended up with this one customer that was really happy with me. Like, and they had a really growing business and I ended up taking a full-time job. And I actually ended up working with them for a number of years. I had several different positions and after working with them for a number of years, I had the stability, and before that, I had the creativity, and I felt like I'm not where I want to be with the creativity. Working with this company, it's quite a challenge in that regard. So back in 2023, I said, you know what? I know I got a great job. I'm getting paid really well. Everybody likes working with me, but
Something's missing.
gonna quit. So I did. I did quit back in 2023, and I gave this another go. But this time I had the experience in working for myself originally, as well as the several jobs I'd had. I had experience working with this growing company, and I got
Mm-hmm.
to see, what it's like to grow in a company. And then
Mm-hmm.
I had that experience on my own as a freelancer trying to grow. So I'm like, well, this is like the perfect combination here. I've got
Mm-hmm.
the skills, I've got some perspective. I'm a bit older now, and I have a lot more insight. So that's when I started this again back in 2023. It was a little like rocky at first, but I can say I'm making much more than I was back then,
Mm-hmm.
like more than double, which is great.
Awesome.
And I have a lot of clients, and it's always like you got to keep your eye on what's ahead, but make sure you're still keeping in touch with all those clients. But that's what inspired me. It's like, yeah, just be creative.
Why do you keep doing what you do today?
Honestly, I want to see it grow because I have seen it grow over the past since 2023. I've seen it grow so much. I'm just like I don't think it's done growing. So I think I need to stick with this longer. And there's always challenges related to running your own business that are that flip side. And the grass, you think the grass is always greener. Oh, everything is perfect. It's like it's really not. But I'm seeing like the beginnings of some opportunities here that could play out really well. And I've got work right now, and I have work lined up for the future. It is, I mean, I'm really happy. I mean, part of what happened is that my old employer that I worked for, they came back to me and they're asking me to keep working for them, but more on a freelance basis. So
Mm-hmm.
they really liked working with me, and then I quit. So they're like, well, we could still work together. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, that's great.
Opportunity. Yep.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. So I get to continue to do the work for them. And then I have other clients. Like, for example, one client is working on getting state contracts. This client's actually, I'm from New York State, so I'm from Rochester, and this
Ah,
client's yeah, so I got like some California clients, I got some New York clients, several of them. And this client is working for New York State. So I've actually been helping out with a contract for probably about the past 6 months that they've had. So I'm like, I know that they're in the process of getting more, and they love working with me. The state loved the designs that I did, and I'm
mhm.
just like, this is just like the beginning of an opportunity here. Like these are all just beginning to come to fruition. I know it takes several years sometimes for things to really come along, and it can take
Mhm.
like several more years. So I'm just continuing to do this because I want to see where it goes. And honestly, the flexibility is great when you work for yourself. I guess,
Mhm.
yeah. It's just like I want to work at 9:30 in the morning. I don't want to work at 8. I don't want to drive through traffic. I have a really good office. It's really nice. I got awesome furniture. I got like expensive chair. Like all this stuff is just perfect and it's zero interruptions. So
Mhm.
that's another reason why I keep doing it.
Who do you love helping the most?
I like clients where I can really see the impact that my work has, and I like to see how my designs just can drive their success. So, like, for example, one of the clients I'm working with is making a web app, and I do
Mhm.
have UX design in addition to website design. I've worked as a UX designer at the previous company I was at,
Mhm.
and I just, I like a project like that. I come into that project and I'm like, wow, you have an amazing concept. I believe in the concept. I'm aligned with what you're doing. I like you as a person. Like that always helps.
Mhm.
We get along well. We work well together. So I love working with clients like that. And then I'm doing all the, he has the functionality for the app, but I'm doing all the user experience and I'm helping him out with the branding. So I get to see basically this app go from an idea that he has in a production environment that's, it's a cool idea, but it's, executed at all to a finished app that he's going to be in several months down the road. He's going to be letting people subscribe to this and sign up for it. I'm like, wow, that is the awesome. That's a really great client that I love to help. I just love to see it really come together. And then if it is something like an app or a website with like usable functionality, I love to
Mhm.
see people using it. Like my
Yeah.
old company, we did software and it was like, users gave feedback on the software and it's like that's amazing. I also like, working with clients where maybe something simpler like a website,
Mhm.
but it's bringing in a lot of business for them. So, for example, another client, it's a gym, and this person is killing it. They're doing so good. They are actually looking to franchise the operation of their gym. So right
Mhm.
now they're rebranding everything and redoing all their landing pages and all their marketing material so that they're in a better position to start the franchise. And for them, they obviously need more people to sign up for the gym to help fund
Yeah, for
any
members.
other operations they're going to be doing. So I'm making them a really, really good converting website. So like that's another kind of thing I like to do. Like maybe it's, not quite as extravagant as an app, but it's still something that, in 6 months, this
People
client,
will use. Yeah.
yeah, people are going to use it. And the client has been a client for several years and he continues to work with me. And I want him to come back and say, this website was so much better than the other website. I'm like, that's who I love to help. I love to just like be like, this is so much better than what you had. You are
Mhm.
getting so much more business. You look professional. You look legitimate. People can understand what's on the website. They can navigate the website
Yeah.
and they have a great experience, but they also show up at your gym. And I like to know that I had a part of them making
Mhm.
that decision and then showing up and becoming your client.
What does inspired action mean?
Inspired action, I think this is more like, for me, this would be like a genuine alignment. Are you doing something because it feels meaningful and it's right and it's not expected?
Mhm.
And I think that this extends beyond just business and into like life decisions. I think of, there's a lot of things in life that people do. And for me, when I do those things, I always ask myself, is this what's right for me? Like, just because this is what people are getting 9 to 5s, people are, doing this kind of thing here. Is that really what's going to make me happy? And for the longest time, I tried to push myself into places I didn't fit. And then I wondered, why it just wasn't working and why I was like unhappy. I just, bought all this stuff and tried to do all these things just to make myself happy. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's because there's an alignment issue here and it's not for me. So I think an inspired action is like looking at situations and really just reflecting on them and reflecting on yourself and saying, is this what's right? Is this really what makes sense? And as a creative person in general, I think for me, it's just like creating a business. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's an extension of being creative. It's like I kind of look at everything in life like that. It's an opportunity to create opportunities, and that's I think that's action is inspired, and I try to keep my eyes on my goals and
Mm-hmm.
just be as intentional as I can rather than just being reactive, just letting things happen,
Yep.
getting not saying no when I need to say no. I'm like getting myself into situations with clients where I'm like, that was a bad idea. And like trying to just do as much reflection and acting from alignment as possible.
What makes you happy? You needed to feel the happiness, but it was lacking when you worked on that position. What was missing? What made you unhappy on that position?
It was a number of things. I mean, just to speak lightly on one of the things that was that the creative style wasn't what I wanted. It
Mm,
was a lot of going off of things that already existed and a lot of like following marketing formulas over actual creativity.
I see.
And it was like 90% marketing. And we need marketing, we really do. But as like a person who's in more of a visual field with the
Yeah.
website and the UX, I it felt so prescriptive to me that I really struggled with it. Now my team was phenomenal. I've loved everybody I've worked with. You know, we all grew together and we saw the company grow, but it was really just, knowing I had that one style to work with. And like at the in-house job I had when I got out of college, I had that one style. But then when I do
Weren't
freelance, I'm
able to
like,
branch out.
yeah, you can branch out and you work in all these different styles with all these different clients with different personalities and different visual brands. And so yeah, that was the challenge. That's oftentimes the challenge of the in-house jobs. It's
Hmm.
just the nature of them.
Just do what
And
you
I,
need to do, and that's it.
yeah, that's it. And coming from a person who like, I always try to do my best, and I always want to do the best. And sometimes that the best isn't really allowed in a way. So that's why I felt like doing what I'm doing now is just it's a better fit.
Awesome. Uh, Last question. If someone wanted to collaborate with you, what's the first step? How would we do that?
Well, you don't want to, you reach out to me, say hi. Maybe I've seen you around or I've heard of your business. I was in Hero Hub for a while
Mm-hmm.
in Temecula, so I got to meet a lot of wonderful entrepreneurs. That's really a great experience. I worked at the front desk, so maybe we've already connected. But if not, I would love to get to know you and your business. And I think a lot of it's also about knowing that my skills are a match for what we're doing and knowing that we're able to get together the right teammates because I focus mostly on design with like light marketing, mostly UX websites, and I do graphic design. So there's other people we may need to pull in, but
Mm-hmm.
we can talk about that. I mean, obviously, you're a developer, that kind of stuff. We talk about teams, but yeah, just get the conversation started. And I really like to focus on established businesses that are ready to grow. You know what you're doing. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
helping you define what you're doing. I'm not helping you make your business. I'm helping you with a business that you already have that you're really ready to take to the
Passionate
next
about.
level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You need to know you know your business. And then at that point, you be ready to work with somebody like me because I have my expertise. I get to learn your business and I help you meet the goals to help you grow your business. So you just reach out and say hi and we can talk about your project, talk about your business. It's okay even if you don't need help right away, just kind of looking around, seeing, what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, it's important too that we're a good fit, like personality wise. The clients that I work with, we're good fits and they really like working with me. And, I think I'm actually pretty easy to work with, but that's also part of it too. So that's why we have conversations and we talk about expectations and we get to know
Mm-hmm.
each other. And that's what I'd say just the first step to collaborating would be.
What is the final advice you give to our inspired action interviews or audience?
I think it's probably just go for it, but to do it responsibly. Like, to understand where you need to be financially and to understand your life goals,
Mm-hmm.
but to simultaneously not put something you want to do on the back burner. just because, so like figure out where that balance point is for you, because for everyone it's different. Some people might have a ton of money saved and be like, I'm going for it. Some other people might be, have to be a little more scrappy with it. But I think my advice would be like, go for it, but make sure, I'm a cautious person. So I'm always just going to say, go for it, but be cautious and really think about this and think about, how can this be a sustainable business? Is it like, do people need this service? Is it something you can charge money for? If people don't need it, then how could you reconfigure it into something people need? Really ask yourself those questions. Be as forward thinking as you can, but also, understand yourself personally, and don't take everybody's advice. And when I first started out, I took so much bad advice. I just look at it and I'm like, I think the best advice came from me. It came from me doing reflections on my own situation and knowing that this is right for me. And there may be 90% of people out there where that other thing is right for them,
Yeah.
but it's really like knowing who you are and what's right for you and using
Exactly.
that. Yeah, using that to move forward and make decisions based on.
Yep. Everyone is different, and
Yeah,
advice works differently for everyone else. So it's
it really does. It does. You got to
one size.
filter it and see, does it make sense? Yeah, use your intuition.
Yep. You can try it, but if it doesn't work out, there's nothing wrong with moving on.
No,
So,
exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
so that's the end of our interview with Ashley Laughlin. I hope you learned so much about her. And if you ever want to partner with both her and me, then just email, and I'll also give her information at the end of this interview and also the YouTube channel. So please follow us, and thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.